Hey guys! Today you guys are going to be taking notes over West African masks. So if at any point in time you need to pause the video so that you can take the notes, because I might move a little bit quicker than you can write, then go ahead and pause the video and then pick it back up when you are ready to move on to the next slide. So West African masks, we're going to start, this is the area of Africa that we are going to be talking about. So before we get into the details of the masks, I want us to look at the masks themselves. So I want you guys to fill out in your note sheet, what kind of shapes do you see within these masks? Are there any patterns? How do you create a pattern? Like, what is a pattern? So a couple shapes that I see right off the bat are diamonds on both sides of the face. So go ahead and fill out your note sheet, and you can pause if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. So the next question is, are masks 2D or are they 3D? Remember, 2D is flat and 3D is kind of like an object that you can hold. So these masks have bold patterns that are carved or painted with pigments. So these are actual masks. The past couple masks have been digitally made masks. So these are the real deal. So if you were to fold these masks in half, they would be the same on both sides. This is an example of symmetrical balance. So if I drew a line down the middle, it would be the same on the right-hand side than it is on the left. This is symmetrical balance. It is symmetrical on each side. This one is kind of for you guys. So where do you see negative space on these masks? Well, to know that, you guys have to know what negative space is. So negative space is pretty much where you can see through it. It is space that is not there. So where do you guys see negative space on these masks? Hint, negative space, if you can see through it, you might be able to see through the mask. So that would be the eyes and the mouth. Why do people create these masks? So that's kind of the whole point of us going through this project. So we're going to learn that in the next couple of slides. Why do they create them? So artists hold a respected position in the community in this part of the world. Masks are valued for their spiritual quality. These masks are actually part of a ceremonial costume. We're going to be watching a ceremony on Thursday of this week. But during these ceremonies, the masks come to life through music and dancing. They often represent spirits of ancestors, and they control the balance between good and evil, these people believe. They use materials from the earth, such as wood, clay, raffia, and textiles. So they use materials that are natural. They often decorate these masks with shells, beads, bone, animal skins, and fibers from vegetables, maybe. Sometimes metals, such as bronze, copper, and brass, are also used in these masks. They use tools for carving that have a spiritual quality. So I'm going to back it up just a second. So the reason that the tools that are used for spiritual qualities are important is because these masks are believed to have a spiritual quality. So if the tools that they used also have a spiritual quality, that will take into account for the masks too. So masks celebrate more abstract qualities like nobility, beauty, mischief, and humor. So they might not have exact human features. So, like, for example, the one on the left, his mouth is not exactly what a human's mouth would be like, right? The one on the right doesn't have a mouth at all. So they are abstracting those qualities to kind of be a symbol for something else. Many artists have been inspired by African art, including Pablo Picasso. So he took these African masks as inspiration, which sparked the Cubist movement for him. So his shapes were broken up and reassembled in an abstract form based on, like, he was inspired by African art. Here are some examples. Animals have long inspired the ideas for mask designs. A couple different animals that live in Africa that might have been inspiration for some of the masks are rhinos, lions, hyenas, antelopes, leopards, an ostrich, zebras, an African cow, and on the right is actually an example of a mask that was based off of an African cow. A water buffalo, there's an example there too. An African marsh owl, and there's a digital example of a mask. An African elephant, you can see that this mask involved fibers or like yarn material. An African hunting dog, a python, So, how would you guys design a mask that represents you? Some masks combine human and animal qualities together. You guys next week will be filling out a brainstorm sheet, so I want you to think about how would you design a mask that represents you? Again, you'll have a brainstorm sheet to help you with that next week. And then here are my sources. Today you guys took notes over African masks, and tomorrow you guys will watch an African mask ceremony.